My only take back, and if you watch the special, it's super enjoyable, is I read everyone's jokes as they were doing them because I was reading the prompter. So
you're saying this because you think we don't know that?
Oh.
No, we saw it.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. Oh, no. I was going to inquire as to your reading age.
And Tom and I looked at each other and Tom goes, we're going to bomb. And because our thing wasn't what everyone else was doing.
And people don't know that. We were asked to do this different thing. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to be well received. Like the monitor.
Oh, wow, there's a whole site called Podcast Cringe?
Yeah, I subscribe to them.
Yeah, no, this guy rules. He's a great channel. He like covers pretty much all of it.
So Tom and Bert dropped a freshly recorded Two Bears, One Cave episode recorded just last week. If you're not aware, YMH Studios pre-records episodes of their podcast weeks and even months in advance, so usually we'd have to wait at least a couple of months to hear them discuss the Tom Brady roast, but it seems like they're pulling their finger out and organizing themselves a little bit better since their apology last week or last month or whenever they actually recorded that. It gets kind of confusing. And they went into quite a bit of detail about the roast, how they got involved, and why they thought they were going to bomb, which ended up coming true. So I'm going to take you through all those details in a moment. But before we do that, as you saw in the intro, they had the biggest twat in stand-up comedy, Jimmy Carr, on the podcast, which was his first time on Two Bears, but his second time with Tom Segura. Last year, he appeared on the YMH podcast where he roasted Tom's wife, Christina, and he continued that trend on this episode by going hard at Bert. I don't know if it was because they were fresh off the Brady roast and Jimmy was feeling left out, or maybe he's just always been waiting for an opportunity to make Bert his side piece. Whatever the reason is, I put together a compilation of all the best Bert roasts from this episode of Two Bears for you guys. This was honestly one of the best episodes I've seen of Two Bears in months, thanks to Jimmy. So shout out to the comedy philosopher himself for making Two Bears great again.
Would you want to do your impression of Jimmy for him?
Hello, Mummy. I would like to take my spot of tea at the meadow today.
Right. Right. So you've not watched a lot of Downton Abbey, but quite a lot of Guy Ritchie films.
I have. I've only watched Guy Ritchie.
Like the thing that I've been doing the last couple of years, the last special, trying to expand that kind of slightly longer bits. Because I love it when other people do it.
Sure.
Thank you.
But I do. I mean, but I love that thing of like the idea of going out there with, one story and doing an hour. That'll last me 20 seconds.
I have one story and I've done 25 years. What was your favorite joke from the night last night?
Nikki Glazer's, to you, I'm a huge fan of your joke. Made me laugh for, I would say, I'm still laughing at it now. It's so good.
Yeah.
It was so really good. His joke about me, it looks like the Liver King met the Burger King.
Oh, yeah.
And has the liver of Rodney King, got beat up by Martin Luther, whatever the fuck. I can't even do his joke. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, that was amazing.
My only take back, and if you watch the special, it's super enjoyable, is I read everyone's jokes as they were doing them because I was reading the prompter. So
you're saying this because you think we don't know that?
Oh.
No, we saw it.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. Oh, no. I was going to inquire as to your reading age when I got here. I think you're really coming along.
I just saw the clip of Bert, of Tony doing it, and Bert's going.
Yeah. He looks like he's praying. He looks like he's quietly praying. Hope it goes okay. Hope it goes okay.
And I got to say, like, when you host the thing too, you can kind of be personality versus material. I thought Kevin killed. You know what I mean? Like, he had great material. He had great energy. He always kept it fun and funny. He was
and he's
great.
A legit goddamn movie star.
Yeah.
Not like one machine movie. That didn't count. Like a proper, proper general release. Like people went to see it. They bought tickets.
Yes.
It's like a real movie.
Yeah.
Real
revenue. Yes.
Not like whatever. You made a thing for YouTube. Not that.
Yes.
A real one.
Yes.
It was the real deal. Star. Yeah. I was reading his prompter, and he would go.
Yes, we know. it was on television.
I know.
Did they tell you Kim Kardashian was going to be there?
I knew it because I went to rehearsal and I saw her face on a picture.
You rehearsed because watching it, you wouldn't think that doesn't come across.
And I realized when we started the bit that there were so many laughs in between that you didn't have to run through it, that you could take your time and say the sentence. And I was like, oh, when we got our first laugh, I went, okay, I have to wait for the laughter to end to say my next line.
Yeah, and it's a long laugh in that room as well because it's a big room.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're used to big rooms, but it's a big room.
Yeah.
See, I did think like as an event, it was such a great thing to be at.
I always felt other, even though I probably fit in. I always felt other. I've always felt other. When we went to that party the other day, that I said to Ted, I go, I don't belong here. Like,
I felt that too, though. I asked security, should he be here?
Wait,
that-
weird. Tom is really good at picking out morons. Like he's like, that guy, he's an idiot.
He knows he's saying this, yeah?
Yeah. Why? What am I saying? but like, were you? Because you were like, you came from a different world.
Still don't think he knows he's saying it.
Okay.
So, but would you?
So you're saying Tom's good at picking out morons?
He's really good at picking out morons. Oh,
Right.
no, I'm not saying that.
And there you saw the penny drop in perhaps the slowest of all motions.
What a fart.
Yeah, the fact that you didn't get a joke about being a moron.
You have to make me another drink? So wait, did you
Can
suffer?
we take 2 drinks away?
Okay, I don't know how this happened, but Jimmy Carr understood the assignment. For some reason, he's well versed on the lore of Bert Kreischer's degeneracy, from flogging the same story for 25 years to always bragging about selling out arenas, to Bert being a fat drunk and not realizing he's a moron. What a performance from Jimmy, 10 out of 10. Even though he's a twat, he's still a friend of this channel. And speaking of friends of the channel, I can't go on without giving our boy Chrissy D and Jeff Whittick a quick shout out for giving me a plug on the most recent episode of Chrissy Chaos.
Oh, wow, there's a whole site called Podcast Cringe.
Yeah, I subscribe to them.
Yeah, no, this guy rules. He's a great channel. He like covers pretty much all the content.
And what does
broke
he
down,
do? Like,
these are probably your friends, so you could cut out whatever if I trash any of your friends.
No,
But
you can trash.
Andrew Schultz, he put out a special and he sold it for the first 2 weeks, and he told his fans it'll never come out publicly.
Okay.
And then he just dropped it publicly, so he made millions of dollars off his fans, and then just gave it out to everyone for free. So there was a good episode about that. Joe Rogan's in everyone because he put all these guys on, and it's like all of them go on the show, and that's
so
how
it's
they get
better
famous.
if you're not on this. It's better if you're not a part of
Yes,
this.
you don't want to be on this.
Okay.
That's brilliant. Who knew Jeff was such a big fan of the channel? And Chrissy D's got nothing to worry about. I covered him low-key roasting Bert and Jake Paul on their podcast last year, so he's definitely a friend of the channel as well. But let's get back on track, because what I really wanted to discuss is Tom and Bert's reaction to the Brady roast and their excuses for bombing.
Well, we should go to the beginning. So like
let's talk about our experience with the roast.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we get a call.
Good call, Bert.
We get a call like a month ago, and they say, hey, we're doing this roast of Tom Brady. Would you be interested in doing it? And you go,
I said, yes, we're both in.
and I go, no.
You said, absolutely not.
I go, no.
You were like, there's nothing we can win out of this.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we've never been on roast. We're not roasters or anything. But then they said, we're trying something different where we want you guys to do it together. And even then I was like, you mean like just go to the podium together and roast together? And they were like, no, we want to do like, we're thinking of like trying something that we've never done before.
I think they wanted a Sports Center thing first.
Yeah.
And we were like, no.
So it's good to know that the PowerPoint presentation style roast wasn't their idea. It actually came from Netflix. And the funny thing is, Bert's trying to flex by saying he said yes straight away without even knowing what they wanted him to do, whereas Tom's instinct was to say no. I said this on my previous video, but the red flags are piling up for Tom to ditch Bert and do his own thing. Like I already said, I think Tom would have done a decent job on his own, just doing a normal style roast. Bert would say yes to anything. It's all part of his plan to have people miss him at his funeral. And so Tom explained how he basically led the negotiations and workshopped with the producers of the roast while Bert just sat there and said nothing.
In a 30-minute Zoom call, I spoke zero, which I think everyone will find shocking.
Yeah, that's true.
And you talked the whole time, and you had a million questions of things, angles you liked, angles you wanted to do, things you were cool to do. You liked the multimedia presentation. You liked it being different than everyone else's.
Yeah.
Because you're like, in there, you can't really draw a comparison because it's apples and oranges. So we can succeed on our own or fail on our own.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you were like, Bert, do you have any do you have anything to say? And I said yes Thursday.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said.
Yeah, I said yes Thursday.
I said yes before we had any idea what we were doing.
Yeah, and you came up with a script. You wrote a script, sent it over to Mike and me. I read it, loved it, talked to Mike, kind of punched it up, gave it to the writers. The writers punched it up a little bit. Writers, Ray, Pat, Saratiana,
Mike Lawrence.
Yeah. Mike Gibbons, Jeff Ross.
Yeah, they're great.
All the people that worked on that roast, and I'm sure I'm leaving people out, were fucking phenomenal and with us every step of the way. And they were pivotal in some of our favorite moments in that roast.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up Tom and Bert's working relationship. Tom's the brains and Bert's the cringe. And the worst part is Bert bragging about doing nothing and leeching off Tom. I know a lot of you guys don't like it when I say this, but I really want to like Tom again. Most of these guys are grifters. Most of them are elites who smell their own farts and hate poor people. For some reason, it goes with the territory, but I still think there's hope for Tom if he ditches Bert. I guess they must actually be friends and Tom's happy carrying Bert on his shoulders, if that's even possible. But one of the other takeaways for me was just how involved the producers and writers of the roast are with everybody's sets. I'm not really into roasts. I wouldn't have watched it if Tom, Bert and Schultz weren't on there. I know Tony Hinchcliffe and Nikki Glaser have done them before, so it was a surprise to learn that the writers and producers basically hold their hands all the way to the end, which kind of makes sense when you think about it. This would have cost Netflix tens of millions of dollars to put on, maybe even more, I'm not sure. So they're not going to leave it up to guys like Bert and Gronk to make it work. But then when Jimmy arrived at the studio, Tom and Bert discussed how they knew they were going to bomb before they got to do their set.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Carr.
Oh, shit. What did I tell you?
Jimmy Carr and my redneck wife.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
Yeah,
Yes.
here. Sit down right here. Good, buddy. Thank you for coming.
Congratulations on that.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you,
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
What was it like up
He was, well, we were just getting to that.
When Nikki was up, it goes Kevin, Jeff, Drew Bledsoe, who fucking murdered, Nikki destroys, and Tom and I looked at each other and Tom goes, we're going to bomb. And because our thing wasn't what everyone else was doing.
And people don't know that. They didn't know that we weren't asked to like roast traditionally. We were asked to do this different thing. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to be well received. Like the monitor.
I thought it was great because it's like, it's as you're watching it as a punter,
Yeah.
like in the audience, you go, yeah, it's at like a different speed.
Yeah.
And it's a very long show. So actually doing something that's a different, and you know, like, so you're watching the roasting for like, you know, an hour and you go, well, everything's been hit on. We understand his wife has gone and he lost some money in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then you go, it's nice to have a little, okay, there's another thing.
Like a little
that was
palate cleanser.
The great
thing.
line, it's really helped me understand my wife.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it
Yeah.
was the psychopathy.
I got a really big laugh.
Yeah.
Not from your wife, I would imagine.
That got a
She
big
liked
fucking laugh.
Okay, hang on. Who thought it would be a good idea for Bert Kreischer to be a palate cleanser? Like, seriously, we all needed a shower after they were done, washcloth and everything. So it seems like Tom and Bert weren't the only ones to blame. From what they're saying there, it sounded like there were too many captains, and it ended up coming off as a bad SNL skit or some cringy comedy sitcom where a committee of writers sit around and brainstorm together and then pat themselves on the back for collaborating. But there was something that Tom brought up towards the end that I thought was really interesting. They got onto Kim Kardashian and Ben Affleck's performances, and Tom explained why Kim managed to pull it together while Ben Affleck got worse and worse by the minute.
This was something that I kept noticing too, because in seeing Prompter and watching all the acts, one of the things that you pick up on was the people that didn't do well. And there were a few that like, it was, I'm saying like the regular roasting was it wasn't because of them or the material. It's that they kept going off script. They would read like the top line and you're like, okay. And they don't realize, see, we know how important economy of words and like you got to say this before, this is the connective tissue to that. And they would go first line. And then I would watch them like riff on that and then try to pick up, and you're like, yeah, it doesn't work like that. You have to stick to the whole thing for the thing at the end to pay off.
Yeah, I thought Kim Kardashian did a great job. I mean,
No,
like,
but
that
this
joke
is
about
why-
I wouldn't have told anyone. I would have made a sex
the
tape.
reason I think she was able to, because she ended up getting a couple big pops, is because she stayed in the pocket.
So to get booed like that and to just sit with it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then to do it, the confidence.
Yeah.
Like to get booed by that many people, it's like most people would crumble.
Of course.
Most people would Affleck. Which is where, it's an industry term, it's where you get dry mouth and you can't your veneers stick to your lips and you can't speak.
That's more to my point, is that he was completely jumping off of that script, man. Like he would get the gist of it, and then we were like reading it. We're like, why is he jumping off? And then it would go worse, and then he would just jump ahead to the next thing. So I don't know if it was nerves or the fact like we're so used to do it. Maybe also he passed on rehearsal and didn't want to come to that or something. But that's why
I think he probably didn't want to come to rehearsal because he didn't want to be roasted.
So I guess that's something more relevant to non-comedians where they kind of just have to trust the material. The question I have, though, is when Bert starts snorting and wheezing for 30 seconds while he's doing his screechy laugh, was that in the script or was he just riffing with it? I heard it both ways be, and so at the end of the day, it seemed like Netflix tried to use comedians that have specials on their platform so they could cross-promote them, except for Nikki Glaser, of course. Her special's coming out on HBO. Even Shane Gillis apparently told Jimmy Carr during the roast that he wished he hadn't turned it down and gone up there himself. But you have to hand it to Netflix. They're going pretty hard with the live events this year. This was their first live roast, and then we've got the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight next month, which if you haven't heard is no longer an exhibition match. It's going to go down on their professional records. As for Tom and Bert, it was good to see them upload a podcast that was only a week old instead of 3 months. I'm not sure if this is going to be a trend going forward. I doubt it, given how busy their schedules are. But one thing's for sure, Tom's carrying dead weight by sticking with Bert, and until he drops him and does his own thing, I can't see how he rebuilds his reputation. So if you want to see my full breakdown of the Tom Brady roast, go and check out my Patreon. I made a video on there with the full clips from the night, as well as my commentary on all the best and worst roasts. Otherwise, if you're not a regular of this channel, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you ended up enjoying this video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.
Well, I should post my first time doing stand-up. Maybe I'll...
Yeah.
Man, it was so bad.
No, that's...
My first joke that worked was about jerking off in a cheeseburger.
Into one?
Oh, no, with one. I put it around my dick and jerked off with a cheeseburger around my dick.
Okay.
And that was like a big... That was my closer.
That was your closer.
And it was just... I didn't know what stand-up was, so I just was like telling the most revealing stories I could about myself.
Yeah.
And
did they make you leave In and Out?
No, but
They shouldn't have called it In and Out if they didn't want people to do that. You talk about animal style.
You're so good.
Oh my
None
God.
of these are in my bit.
Yeah. I said no mayo. How much of a problem do you have with food before you fuck a burger? I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist, but that feels like this is the conversation before the intervention. Right? Oh, I love food. No, you don't understand.
Maybe I won't post it.